Cowlazars, 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 Cowlazars. Cowlazars, Cowlazars, come on, let's have some adventures. We'll spend days, we'll spend weeks, we'll spend months working our way through treasure hunts. Cowlazars, 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 Cowlazars. Mike drinks coffee a ton, feel free to send him some. Cowlazars, 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 Cowlazars. Watch Mike once, you'll wanna watch him again. James Frey once called him to talk Forrest Fenn. Cowlazars, you cannot go wrong. You could even say bovine photons. Now let's get going on the double. Let's talk treasure hunts, let's talk puzzles. Cowlazars, 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 Cowlazars.
All right, everybody, and we are live. It's Monday, January 7th, coming to you live from the power of the internet and YouTube. It's the Cowlazars and Kpro show. So thank you to Davio and Jono for coming on today. And yeah, we're going to talk about what we as a searcher community would like to ask Forrest Fenn. So Jenny Kyle says she does her February 4th. Do I have the date right? February 4th? She does her February 4 questions, which is awesome. And she sent those questions to Forrest already, but we thought, let's have our own questions. We're not going to send these to Forrest. This is just for fun, but he may or may not be watching. So, and no disrespect to what Jenny does. That's great how she puts out the 6 questions. But we just thought, for people who maybe didn't submit them to her, we'll just have fun with it. So Kpro, take it away. Do a little intro.
Okay, yeah, we have our panels back. I'm very excited. First one of 2019. So whoop whoop. So my name is Kristy, and I run a forum called Hint of Riches, and I hang out with Cal on Monday and Thursday nights. And tonight is all about the Mondays are all about Forrest Fenn, and Thursdays we're going to try to have other hunt. If you saw last week, I told everybody I was boots on the ground, and everybody freaked out because they're like, "Oh, you're going for Forrest Fenn? Did he give you a hit?" No, it was a whole different hunt. So that's a Thursday night thing. So if you want to know where I was boots on the ground, I was exhausted. But that is a little bit about me. And so over to Davio.
Hi, Davio22 here, also known as David Charles. I am the fringe. I am the hardcore chaser. I'm the guy who's saying I have been to the blaze. All of the stuff you don't want to hear, I'm your guy. That's right. I've got the hardcore information. Thank you. Love being there. And I love making and I love selling little hearts to get my butt back out there into the world. So nice. Valentine's Day is coming up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. And then Jono, otherwise known as Brit Chaser, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
That's right, Brit Chaser on YouTube and Thor. I've not got any art, but I do have coffee. It's 2 a.m. in the UK. If I do look like I'm nodding off, you know the reason why, but yeah.
We're going to say, over to you. What do you think?
Yep.
Every time Okay. So, so a couple things of introduction. I will say we have a new moderator in the room, Copperdan, since he is a superhero when I say that. We had the chat room was going so quick. We wanted to bring on a moderator, and so he's going to be able to watch things more closely than we are, because we get to debating and yelling and screaming, and that's what we do here. So and sometimes we ignore you, so we want to make sure it's a safe place for all of you and all of us. So I want to say thank you to Copperdan. I can't stop myself from saying it that way. And then, of course, Super Chat is on. Super Chat is available to the Cow channel. And if you at least donate $50, I'll scream and yell at you for just $50. So
no name calling. No matter how much it is, no name calling. We actually talked about that before the show started. I was like, what would you yell at somebody? But no, we're not going to do that. So
okay, we're just being silly. We're trying to have a fun night. Let's keep it light. And so we're going to take the first 45 minutes, and it's all going to be content. We do have a couple things to say at the end, which will be World Series of Fenn. A few other things if you happen to be in the community in the last 24 hours. There is a little bit of an update. I did see that Sean Dotson just went on. We weren't able to see it. We were prepping for the show. So anyway, there'll be a comment or two at the end, but I will talk about kind of all things non-content related. And we actually got this from the wonderful Sean. And because he said, okay, here's the content portion. And then he'll say, here's where you can drop off if you don't care about the non-content. And I think that's a really good format. So if you aren't into that part, then you just drop off and all is well. But those of you that want to hear about the World Series of Fenn and a few of the other details, hang around and we'll talk. We'll have coffee talk. Okay.
Talk.
Go. Talk. Okay, so here is how we're going to do this. In the chat room, we want you really interactive tonight. We're going to divide up. So if you were able to ask, Forrest usually answers 6 questions. If we were to divide up the 6 questions into 2 categories, that's what we want to do tonight. The first category is very content related. Would he rule out a state? That would help me. Would we do X, Y, Z? And then the second is we know he doesn't answer a lot of content questions. So some people call these wasted questions. I don't think they're wasted because sometimes they give us some information. Like I put the gut feeling. Is he going to have a gut feeling again this next year? That would be a great non-content question or non-solve related question. I know, and there's a debate there that we can have. So we're going to start with content related questions. We're going to go around the horn here to say, what do we want to ask Forrest if we were able to ask Forrest on a content related question. I asked this up on Thor. It got in a little controversy. I know that, shocking. So I took it down, but then I was asked if I would put it back up. I put it back up. There's a couple threads on this. So I took kind of the highlights of that, and I have some, so I'm going to throw out the first couple just to start the discussion, but I want to hear from the chat room as well. So please put @ChrisThor at the beginning if you want to go back and talk about those and would they help us, would they not? And we won't be as structured tonight. We're going to kind of just jump in. So the one that I think is the one that I thought was the most interesting out of the Thor discussions was the Jenny's Coded Words. So she put out a book this year and she got a set of hints. I don't know if we should use that word.
Here's the book here.
We got some words. Mike needs to crack this code, man. She put it in a code. I know you've been busy with that.
I know. I haven't had time to look at it. It would be great to do a show on it, but I'm not sure if Jenny would want us to show the book. She wants people to buy the book, which is understandable. So I don't know.
Yeah. So and maybe we could ask her, but Forrest did make a quote. This could help you get closer to the treasure chest or something like that. And so the first question I would have, so from what I understand, some people have cracked it, but not a lot. And they're keeping very tight-lipped. They haven't put it out on the forums or the blogs or Facebook or anywhere. So I would love for us to clarify that piece because I do think it's interesting that it's not out there and it's been out a few months now. That book, how long have you had that book, Mike?
It's probably 6 months, I think. Around 6 months. You'd like Forrest to clarify what, as far as the message that's in the book?
The message in the book, did you give a hint to Jenny that she would have had beforehand for
Gotcha.
At least a year that she put? So that would be my question.
I believe she said what the comment is about the location. I don't think she went into detail any more than that. Just to say Forrest gave words about the location. In order to know what those words are, you've got to crack the code. So just so everybody knows, it is a encoded message, and you have to use the book. It's not a cipher that you can look up online. You have to use the book in order to decrypt the message. So
let's throw that out to the panel. Do we think he's given an actual set of a important clue or clue at all? And he said he's given a clue. What do we think about that going in a book that somebody had months, if not year, or at least a year beforehand? What do we think?
Well, that would be like me and finally putting out the video that I've had for 6 years. you know that video that Mike has finally put up on his website, I believe. I got that from the what do you call it, Cody a long time ago.
Yes, that's right. That's an awesome video that you put up. Yeah.
Right. And that's a good way of seeing, how he talks before he put the treasure out and how he talks with Toby's video after he put the treasure out. I mean, there's only maybe 4 4 years difference between those two.
Mhm.
So while I don't know if there's any hints in there, you can tell how guarded he is in Toby's video. And to me, there are veiled hints and clues in how he's. It's kind of like watching Daniel Negru on poker, little things in his eyes and what's he looking at and how the hand gesture. He doesn't
Language,
do
yeah.
this body language. He doesn't
Mhm.
say they're going to go to the spot. He kind of goes like this. They're going to go to that thing and they're going to find it. So those kind of things I take are as close as we're ever going to get to actual clues and hints. I do not believe he's going to go back on his word and say he's not going to give anything out, because I mean, think about it, 15 years working on this, right?
Mhm.
I don't
So
think
it's called. So all of that, what you said, I put in one word: Fenn speak.
Yes,
It's going to
indeed.
mean something
Yes, indeed.
eventually one day, but it means nothing. What do you think, Jono?
Right.
So Fenn's usually very careful with his words, isn't he? So he's often said, "I'm not going to give you anything that gets you closer to the chest."
Right.
The hints are usually to help you solve the clues he's already laid out, and he's very careful about that. I'm not going to give you any more clues, but he certainly gives hints. Without a doubt, he gives hints. But with this one, did he say on this one, there's words that might get you close to the chest?
As
If
far
he
as
did
the
I think it said
encoded message. So this is what it says in the back of the book. It says, this is from Jenny. The following code is special words from Forrest Fenn to searchers. Can you solve the puzzle and discover what they are? So special words, you know how he does there's weekly words. She kind of does different things on her website. Special words,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
you've got to decide what you think
No,
those
but he
special
has a
words could
quote.
be.
He has a quote that when the book
I've
came
seen a
out,
quote, yeah.
Oh,
and it was
gotcha.
like this may help you get, or this could help you
Hmm.
get closer to. I don't have the exact words. Somebody
Right.
can
Yeah.
go up and
And
look.
that,
But
and, that, and that might be Fenn speak, but it's
Mhm.
certainly stronger than perhaps he's used in the past, I guess.
right,
And that's why it's enticing, I guess. And hopefully
right.
someone spills
That's
the
better
beans.
than his two other memoirs.
But it
Yeah.
is interesting. It is interesting to me that for those people that have cracked it, they're not sharing it. Maybe there is something there where they're like, I'm not going to tell anybody. Let them figure it out on their own.
No, because
So now I might have to sit down and figure this thing out if I can.
I would typically agree with you, Mike, but when you share things, sometimes you become the target for other things. So maybe
That's true. That's true.
Sorry, I'm being ornery. Okay, so that's mine. That would be the one that I would like to know a little bit more about, and it is enticing me. I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. I am going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. And Jenny's, I just want to support. Well, I'll probably buy.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike, I'm coming to Vegas. I might just steal yours.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. I'm going to hide it. I'm not bringing it to the poker tournament.
That's funny. Okay, so do you guys have? I'm going to open it up to anybody on the panel before we hit the chat. The chat room has several. So do you have one that you would think that doesn't necessarily give away your location, but that you think would be particularly helpful to the whole community?
Questions for Forrest, right?
I'm gonna go for one. I'm gonna go for the outrageous one first. So, Fenn's told us what the first clue is, even though there's still some debate in the community. That
Good
seems
point.
quite clear to me. He's also said there's 3 to 4 clues in the second stanza, but he's also said, and I think there's a little bit of debate about this, in the third stanza, the last 2 lines, that they sound like a couple of clues. So we've almost got about 5. So wouldn't it be lovely if he just finishes that off and gives us perhaps 7, 8, or 9?
The rest. Wouldn't that be nice?
A little bit more.
So if you asked him, like, where are the rest of the clues? And he said, all the rest of the clues are in the next stanza. That would be ideal.
Or something like that. Yeah. Or just move us a bit more forward on it. So, yeah.
I'd like all 9, like WWW8, Canyon, Homa Brown,
and we still
Blade.
wouldn't be able to find it. That's just, it would probably cause more arguments than anything else if he did that.
But at least it'll take us 20 years instead of 100 years to solve it. So, yeah, that'd be good.
And for me, like Alan Kay just touched on it, my question would be about the blaze. Now, I don't think he would answer anything about the blaze, but mine would just be can you give us a general idea of the size of the blaze? Like bigger than a breadbasket or something? Because, some people think the blaze they can see from Google Earth and it's as big as a football field. To me, that doesn't make any sense. But again, I haven't been on boots on the ground. But if he could just give us an idea, is it 6 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet? Just some kind of general... smaller than 20 feet, something.
Has he ever said anything to say there's actually a blaze? One of the things that keeps coming around in my mind is it obviously spoke about the simple words in the poem, And that could be one extreme where none of those words as they seem are the actual clue souls. So there's no canyon, there's no blaze, there's no...
Wouldn't that be something?
So has he ever said there's absolutely a blaze?
Well, people have asked him, is the blaze a single object? And his answer was, in a
first
word,
answer,
yes.
Yeah.
So if you take that literally, right, that could be Fenn
in the
speak.
poem, yeah.
Right.
But he's
In a word,
also-
yes. Yeah, the word blaze is in the poem, right? That's probably what he
He
meant.
said many people focus on the blaze. They need to focus on WWH, but maybe he would be saying that because it's not. I take blaze as an absolute. I think there's 4 or 5 that are absolutes, and then there's debatable the rest. Like Homa Brown, blaze, Canyon, WWH, and maybe one more. And then the rest of them, like is meek, is wise, is looked down. Those, it kind of depends on, like I've had 3 solves.
Yeah.
There's been a commonality of one set of them, and then there's been a little bit of debate about the other. Water's High, I think Water's High is one, but that one I think is debatable in the community. And is it Water's High or is it like, is it begin it where Worms Water Halt, or is that begin it warm one? So that's where the debates come in.
And Gary Sandburg just had a good question. He said,
Yes.
how do we think Forrest monitors the treasure chest has been found or not found? I don't think he would answer that, but it'd be great if he could just somehow give us some kind of hint on how he knows it's been found or not.
Mike,
Or
we're in our
maybe-
dreamland.
Right, that's right.
We don't need to say that again. It's kind of like saying, in my opinion. We don't have to say that.
What is title to the gold? What exactly is that? That's what I want.
Or maybe you could just tell us the brand of camera that you uses that's pointed right at the chest or something.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there any that's a good one. DM Roper says, would the question I would ask, is there any intentional red herrings in the poem or book? See, now it would need to be, and this is where I'm going to give again credit to Sean Dotson. It's all about how it's worded, because if you ask it that way, I think he would say yes. And it would be like, how many, which ones, what is it? Is it in the poem? Is it in the book? Which book? Yeah. So, but I think a really good question, because I don't like the red herrings situation that is happening. So, or potentially, breakfast, tea, and bourbon. I left once I heard the red herrings. Like, I just felt messed with, even though Forrest totally messes with us. He hasn't said he is, so it doesn't count. That's a woman's point of view right there.
A serious question I would have for Forrest would be, do you like crossword puzzles? Because you guys know I'm Codebreaker Charlie. So I would just like to know, did he ever do them as a kid? Does he like crossword puzzles? And that might answer a thing or two for me. But just a yes or no answer. That's it.
Now you asked it, but then you gave the context where it is context related. Then I think you just need to say, in general, we just want to know more about you. What kind of music / do you like crosswords? That would he may answer it if he says every single day I did one. Like every single day I play Sudoku. It'd be interesting if he says every single day.
Right.
I didn't see any crosswords when we were there, Mike. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So any other? I would love to know one that just, I don't think it would help us exactly, but I think it would help all of us, from either clue 1 to clue 9, or from the blaze to the treasure chest. How far? Is it less than 100 miles, less than 5 miles, less than 2 miles? I think if we had that, I think every single person would be helped, but it wouldn't help any of us actually crack the poem, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I think the best kind of potential hits.
Maybe not.
So.
Well,
I think my question to Forrest is there information in the absence of information?
What the hell does that mean?
What does that mean? Well, what's missing from the book? There's no glossary. There's no index. There's not a timestamp on every chapter. There are no chapter numbers. So there is a tremendous amount of things missing right out of the gate on this book. So my question would be, is that actually a hint? The lack of information is information.
Okay. I like that. I don't think the question was clear enough, and he would then speak it. Now, I will say,
he'd go, my hearing aid doesn't work, or something.
What was that?
Yeah.
Well, the one that I think was probably the best question that was asked this year, and again, I'm going to do a shout out to Sean. Sean asked the question. It was worded perfectly. Basically, and I'm going to probably murder it when I do this. Do you have to cross water? Is there a water crossing? And I thought that if he answered it, and here's how I took it, and I put this somewhere in one of the chats. I think if the answer was no, he would have said it because it would help us with safety. So the answer is yes. But is the answer yes because it's only some of the time of year or not the time? And this is me chasing my tail. But what a great question. That would be one that I would love to know the answer to, because again, I think it would help everyone solve, either confirm it or go, if he said no, there's absolutely no water, you don't have to cross any water in your solve. It would chuck a lot of solves, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I would
think
imagine, right? I mean, water seems like a big deal. I mean, it's right there. I mean, warm water's solved. I'm thinking somehow there's.
But water crossing's different than being around water, I think. Do you have to walk over water? Do you have to have a bridge over water type of thing?
Right, exactly.
Somebody in the chat just asked Forrest, did you wear waders when you went from your car to the chest? So that would answer that question, wouldn't it?
Any other, Jono? Do you have other?
Yeah. So being in the UK, I desperately need it to be the case that you can solve most of the clues from afar. So I think there's been everything around Little Girl from India, and there was a great question that I haven't got it here now, but the answer to me meant that you could solve most of it from home. But I think he's got away with it because of the way questions have been asked in the past. So clearly the last couple of clues are probably required to be there, and either turn over that petrified log or have a look under the slab or see a blaze. But it'd be good to perhaps hone it down a bit and say something like, could we feasibly decipher clues 1 to 7 without leaving home, just using the items you've mentioned that we need, and try and hone it right down, because I think he gets away with it for the last bit, that you couldn't feasibly do it all. So
yeah, I think that it wasn't the Little Girl from India. I know which one you're talking about. It's like, is it feasible to find the treasure chest? And he's like, all but the last clue or something. I recall something.
It's always like you could do it, but I'm not sure how it's not likely. It was something like that, wasn't it? But yeah, I wish I had the quote.
Yeah. Well, and usually I don't see Diggin' Gypsy in the room. She's like the research queen of the world. She would like, boom, it's this. I didn't know that 8 years ago. I found that out. And so, yeah. I'd like to know why he can't go back and get it. He put that quote out. He can't go back and get it anymore. Is it just because of his health? Is there some clue he's giving us that I've spent too much time thinking about?
That's in the jacket of the book, isn't it? So he just put it there. He's got his book he's written. It comes out and it says, "Oh, if only he could go back if he wasn't so." He's only just put it there, so there's got to be something in that. A clue.
It's too far to walk, right? That's why he can't go back. It's too far to walk.
No,
does he still drive? Yeah, Forrest does still drive. I just answered my own question. He drives. He drives.
He does. You were in his car.
Yeah, he drives.
Oh, and did you get a hint inside of his car? Is there like hint?
I went through the glove box. I was looking under the seat. I was everywhere, and I didn't find anything.
I have not been in his car. So the funny thing is, Mike and I were going to meet him to go pick up the items for the Jamie drawing, and I was running a little behind, and I'm like, I'll be there in 10 minutes, and Mike will pick you up, and we'll go to the bookstore. And he's like, I'm in Forrest's car. We're driving now. I'm like, what?
I ran into him in the Collected Works bookstore. I had no idea it was there. And when I introduced myself, he's like, well, where's Kpro? And I'm like, she's running late. He's like, let's go. Jump in my car. And we just went to his house.
And then you get to his house, and he's like, I can't hear this person here. Take a phone. I mean, you have some amazing stories. So, I mean, it's funny. Okay, the one that everybody actually I'll talk to that one last. I'm going to talk to the why 30 days? Why 30 days? I want to know why 30. He says many people think
wait, what's the quote about 30 days? I want to make sure.
So the quote is, if you find it, you just like relax for or hold on to it for 30 days before you put it in your safe and relax for 30 days. Is it to relax? Is it a super secret hint? Is it a proxy? Is it a title change? Is it Davio?
Well, what I think the reason is you want to be in touch with lawyers. You want to be in touch with all kinds of people so you keep yourself safe. So you need some time to inventory the chest. And what you're going to find in there is something like a 1933 coin that's worth roughly 10 millions apiece. So that would probably make you want to stop and kind of rethink, how you're going to go about this. You also want to not get robbed. So I would think, not rushing out to the public right away, giving yourself 30 days to kind of think about it, probably be really good. Unless you've got all that set up, unless you already have a lawyer, unless you've already, know where to put the box, keep it secure, safety deposit box, and then photograph it so you can prove to the world that you actually have it. So there's a bunch of things you really have to line up to protect yourself. And I'm thinking that's what he's saying is is don't rush to the world. Hey, look, I got it, because look what happens on the internet. All kinds of bad things happen. So it's best to kind of sit back, pull your cards in, kind of reshuffle that deck a little bit, and then kind of go out to the world with a big happy
I think
wearing that bracelet.
There could be more. Jono, what do you think? Is there more, or is it
probably more?
More questions? Well,
no more.
Fenn,
Like, do you think the 30 days is just to say calm down a little bit? Like Faith Hunter just said, well, no, it's abandoned property. Do you think there's more to that quote, or do you think it's just to relax, have a drink, lay back, think about it for 30 days?
Yeah. I mean, the obvious one is that there's something in there, and just taking time to think will eventually mean you get in contact with Fenn as opposed to just blurting it out. It could be. I mean, I really think he's got cameras on this location.
Really, do you really?
Yeah. And it could be that he has to check it, the footage, and he wants to. It could be anything, couldn't it? But
maybe the Blaze is a webcam. Is there a webcam called Blaze?
Dun, dun, dun.
If you found the webcam pointing on the chest, look quickly down, because you just found the chest.
I was thinking maybe he takes one day a month and checks the webcam on like 50 times, but he only does that once a month. But then he would know, and that's the one. Like Jono and I were kind of here.
That's why he waits 30 days. Oh, I get it.
But he doesn't want to do that every day, and every time somebody says they found it, because God only knows. If I get them at least once a week, I get somebody telling me they found it, and I do not ask Forrest anymore, but I did a lot. I can only imagine Forrest gets it every day, so he doesn't want to check the camera every day, so he just checks it like once a month when he has something legitimate, when they give him like the word. The key word that no one, or the word that is key. And once they give him the word that is key. Yes. So Jonah, I think you have a list. Give us one more.
I have. There's one that drives me crazy. It's that one around. He felt like an architect when he wrote the poem. And then you're drawing a map. Architects don't draw maps. What does he mean by that? And I don't think we've had anything since.
I thought that was brilliant.
But
I thought that was his biggest hint. By the way,
have you got a thought on that?
Oh yeah, man. Architect. An architect is a guy who's taking your idea in your head and he's making it into reality, a drawing. So if you can think of a house, I'm going to draw it. Now, if I can draw a house exactly like you're thinking, I get paid. But the chances are what I'm going to draw and what you're thinking are going to be two different things, and that's perspective. Those are opinions. That's art. That's art. So the idea that he is trying to turn these words into something that you could physically see is why the drawings and photographs are so important. I believe these are all, to say that you're an architect and that you felt like an architect writing or drawing that poem, I thought was really super important. That made me draw lines all over the poem and find all kinds of things in there and highlight different things. I mean, I definitely think there's drawings within the poem, within the pages, all over, especially page 99. There's a good one. There's all kinds of little things in there.
So another question from the chat: are any of the clues outside of the 4 search states? That comes from Hooli. That would be a good one if you would answer that.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one to ask him.
And somebody, Dev JB asked, would Forrest like a lake named after him? And I don't know if you remember Kpro, but there's a little park that's by Forrest Fenn's house, and I made the comment, there should be a park named after Forrest Fenn, and maybe on pedestals as you walk through it, or each of the verses of the poem, like a little walk around, like a little circle. And it's like a memorial. And even if the thing is found, that treasure hunt was still real for 8-10 years, and that park would still be great. So I think that's a really cool idea. So.
Or 80 or 100 years. But
yes, right.
There is for those of you that don't know, there's a Fenn Lake, there's a Fenn Pond, there's a Fenn Trail, all within the Fenn. There's lots of.
There is? Okay.
Oh, there are bunny holes and bunny holes. They happen to be nowhere near water. They happen to be nowhere near a canyon. They happen to be nowhere. But if you ever want to take some time to see all the things that are labeled Fenn, that is a good month of research, solid, probably 20 hours a week. If you want to take that time. Some of us have, I will just say.
So what does it take to get something renamed after somebody, like a petition or something? Do you petition the government or the state? Or I don't know how that works, but it's an interesting idea. Oh, a donation. Money. Is that what it takes? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And negotiation, money, and then you come up with an agreement, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you come up with an agreement, and that is something that can be discoverable later of what because you can actually put, like if you know about Soldier Stone in Colorado, that has a lot of provisions. And I'm sure with all those provisions, like there are no brochures. It is not openly marketed. The only way that happened is with a lot more money. And so it's absolutely, yeah, it comes down to money, and however many zeros you have, you get a lot more, and then they get a lot more. So yeah. So okay, I had one that of course we'll have to ask just because it's the elephant in the room is there a 200 footer? Is the 200 footer dead? Is the 200 footer, how are they a non-searcher? How are they a searcher? Is what we've heard true that isn't out can you confirm the words that were actually said? And
I want to know how many people have been within 200 feet. You think you would be able to answer that, right? It's, 8, 1, 10, 15. How many people have been with 200 feet that he knows of? That he knows of.
Okay, so since we've been here, the answer is 1, or the answer was 1 a couple months ago from what he communicated, and everybody heard the tape, so I can openly say that. So okay, does that help? 1.
Well, I think it helps people who have said, I've been to the Blaze and I know I'm in the right area. Well, you're not within 200 feet if you've contacted Forrest and told him your solution, right?
Yeah. But think about this. If we truly believe, if the entire community truly believed there was one searcher 200 feet in 2012 or 13, all those things we heard, that would rule out everybody's locations, right? But they still believe they're the 200.
Yeah, right.
1,000 people that still think it, right, Davio? When did you start in the search or in the hunt?
Well, there was 3 aspects of this hunt. I kind of went along with a friend of mine. I just kind of went along because when I first heard the poem,
you were a non-searcher the first time.
Exactly. I went out and it was just an excuse to get away from all the tragedy and drama in my life. So yeah, you want to go to Yellowstone? I'm with you, sport. Get in the truck. Let's go. Throw the bag in and off we go. Just kind of wandering around and looking at stuff. And that's when, and on that trip, we stopped off at Cody because we had talked to him and we went and got the DVD, which only plays some really old DVD players. So I was able to see the information that we talked to these people at home. I was able to do my information on to find out if this guy was for real. When I first heard this, I go, like everybody, nah. But then after I saw how much, that he donated to that place and how he's into art and all the other stuff he's done, I go, oh, this makes great sense. And then I found out about the 1933 Gold Eagle coin. So I thought if this guy was into collecting things as much as he says he is, he would have that coin or 2 to represent the 2 times he was shot down, right? Because it's the most collected coin in all of America, if not the world. So I would imagine he would put that in the box. So he wouldn't have to have it in his inheritance to his family. Oh my God, what a pain in the ass. He would have so many people bothering his family with that. So I thought it'd be a way for him to kind of get it off his plate and put it out into the world. And then he saw how much this kind of, snowballed into, was it 320,000 emails? I mean, that kind of keeps the guy busy.
It's a tons of emails.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. So going back to what you were saying, I would love to see one on illustrations. Do they matter, or are there no clues in any of them? Because I know some hinge on 99 and a few of the others. The whole Rockwell illustration in TTOTC. Are there any hints, clues, any value? And of course, the words help with the context. And any of the squiggly, I mean, I did it for months and months and months.
And the postmarks. I'd like to know if the postmarks have anything.
I think the postmarks are critical. I mean, this has got to mean something, right?
But that's based off a Norman Rockwell painting or picture, correct?
That is Norman Rockwell's painting.
Right.
Okay, well, that's Norman Rockwell's painting, and here's what he's done, and here's what he's done, right?
And changed it a little, right? Yeah.
I mean, that just seems like that's super important that he would want to. I mean, he's saying many things there. I mean, there's your architect right there, right? I mean, he's architect in Norman Rockwell, the Saturday Evening Post. I mean, he says a lot of things. He says Saturday, he says evening, and he says post, all right there by putting this drawing right in the book. So I'm thinking that there's
all of us
be...
have, and the chat room is saying yes on illustrating that. All of us, it's great. Well, that's what was actually happening in the Thor chat. I was trying to get some Forrest questions, and then everybody was answering them. It's nice. None of us, even with super secret hints, have the treasure chest. So we don't matter. We need a Forrest. Forrest, answer these questions for us. Jono, do you still have a list?
I do.
Mm.
Let's try to stop me. Don't try to stop me.
Yeah, no, go.
I don't know if you've seen. It's not on Tyree Scan. The words aren't there, but there was a BBC documentary about treasures and stuff, and Forrest was on that. And when I talk to people, not a lot of people have seen it. I think Lucky Love has got a version of it. I think. But basically, on there, he says something like, a few people have solved the first 2 clues,
Mhm.
and then they've walked straight past 3 and 4. What I'd really want to know from Forrest is, because I think it is you could pick Warm Waters, pick any of the thousands, but there's a way to get the right one.
Mhm.
Did they solve it, or did they just pick one? Because what he says about, I think, the 3rd and 4th clue is it sounds like he's seen some pictures and they've been near them, and he doesn't quite know whether they solved them or not. But
Right.
they were right by them. So, I'd want to know, have they solved it using the trick I think you need to do to get it and be confident, or have they just picked one?
Okay. So like, is there a systematic way? Is it just not guessing? Because he said there's a million WWWHs in the Rockies.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there a way to narrow it down to one, or is this truly millions and millions? So now, Jono, let's move to your scenario. And if we have time, we're going to move back to, the gut feeling and a couple of the other things. But you had a scenario you wanted to lay out.
Yes.
So the floor is yours, my friend.
Lovely. What I wanted to do was almost try and get into Fenn's head a little bit and set the scene as if you were someone setting a treasure hunt, and how you were uniquely the only person who knows where it is. It all seems very simple to you, but no one else has a clue, basically. So imagine you're challenged with hiding something in your house for your family to find, and if they find it, if they don't find it, they have to do all your household chores for a month. Pretty desirable that they don't find it, and the rules are that you need to write some clues, and it has to be fair, so they could find it, and it has to be balanced and solvable. And as you hide it, it dawns on you how obvious to you where it is, and you just, it's growing on you. It must be easy to find this. So you make the clues harder and harder. And you have to probably go a little bit more vague and use certain words that allow people to go down rabbit holes, and that not quite subterfuge, but what is probably part of normal treasure hunting. That you go vague enough that it allows for people to go down these different routes, and it's almost like a smoke and mirrors. And then make that place you're hiding somewhere that has to be special to you in the house, so it's even more confined and harder. And as a result, you think, well, they're probably going to know me very well, so I have to make the clues even harder again. And the key problem you've got is it's really in your interest to make this hard, but you're the only one who knows, and you're too close to it, and you can't gauge how hard it is. So paranoia sets in, and it drives you to make it harder again. Knowing what you know, it still seems straightforward to you, but only you know. If you add to that it needs to not be found for a month, so you try and balance how long it lasts for, you'll constantly be thinking that the game's almost up when they get close, but when it drags on, they're not quite getting it. You want to give them some hints. So the only person in that unique position is you, but you're in the worst position to actually answer how long it's going to take to find. So if you switch that to making yourself Forrest in his unique position, you're just in the worst position to gauge this. And we know that Forrest's giving out hints and the likes, but him trying to balance it is really difficult for him. And I wonder actually if that 200-foot searcher initially scared him a little bit. If someone can get that close so early, did that scare him a little bit? So really what I wanted to just sort of cause a debate on is sort of saying, overall, I think actually the whole thing is just too difficult in its current state. So we don't really know the shape of the puzzle we're solving. So it's vague enough that some people go around the poem many times. Some people think you're deciphering things. Some people think that you follow it as it's written. Some people so it's really hard to know. And it's almost like I'm in the world's toughest puzzle, but only with half the instructions missing. We don't even know what all the clues are to make it even harder. We don't really know if we're using the clues more than once. We don't know if the clues and their English instructions are part of what we need to follow, or whether it's a deciphered version. We don't know if there's an elaborate trick or puzzle. Currently, there are too many variables to really get to grips with it and concentrate. And I think it's probably really difficult for Forrest to see that in his unique position. He just knows where it is, and he can't understand why people haven't got it yet. If you add to that, the search area is really vast. If you add to that unlike some treasure hunts where this far in, we might be 5 clues in, and the lead searchers are looking for the 6th clue. The first clue is the hardest, so no one can get past that and have this debate to get confidence and the likes. And add to that Forrest speaks from a different time with a different tongue, so it's not plain English to modern language. And I think what I'd love Forrest to consider is firming up some of those variables so we can actually get a hold of it and start using our brain power to really try and work on those clues. Whereas at the minute, you could spend 10 years going down one rabbit hole and one route and cling on to that, and then another 10 years down another. So really, it's almost like a plea, I guess, to say to Forrest, it really is that hard. And the one last thing I wanted to just say on it, I'm in touch with a number of treasure hunters that have actually solved a lot of treasures and set hunts themselves, and they have been on this for 5-6 years. They just can't solve it, just to show how hard this is. So Forrest,
help us
firm
out.
up some variables, help us. Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a different way to say it. Mike, why don't you go first, and then I can say.
I was just going to say I like your puzzle analogy, and I look at it as we're doing a puzzle, but the puzzle's face down, and all we see are the back.
Yes, exactly.
And Forrest is like, you got to find that first clue where warm waters halt, and we're going through all the pieces trying to figure it out by looking at the back. We don't even know what the picture is that we're putting together. So
yeah, but I've done like the 2-faced or the 2 both-sided puzzles, and you just have to basically it's question, you have trial and error. So kind of what you're saying, Jono, I would summarize is there a way to confirm along the way, or is the only way to confirm is when you have the treasure chest? How many of us think we have we have everything that fits, and there's nothing to confirm except going boots on the ground and confirming we don't have it, and then we start again? And if there was a way, if he said there was a technique to be able to confirm if you have the right solve before you go out, I know that goes against everything he's saying, because he wants to get us back away from the texting machines, and we're all behind the computers. But
he didn't say YouTube. That's different.
Well, the word that is key is the rope, as in teachers with ropes. It's the rope that you hang on to for the contiguous clues. This is what gets you through. So once you have that key word, you're on the right track. It helps you it establishes a rope. I mean, right now, where's the rope? What do you hang on to?
Right.
Where's the thread that you hang on? The key word takes you through that. I was fortunate enough to figure out what the blaze was, or I would have never spent this much time doing this.
Okay, but Davio, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Please.
There are 2,000 of you that know for sure in 4 different states, in 1,000 different locations. They know
That's right.
sure. I have the super secret way to crack it. It's not possible for 2,000 people in 2,000 locations to know. So I almost want to ask, is there a way we can get away from being too confident? Because I think there's so many searchers, like the 200 or the gut feeling. Put it up on Thor. How many of you think you're the gut feeling? They're like, yep, that's me. And there was 25. You extrapolate that, there's 20,000 people that know they're the gut feeling. We are overconfident. Yes. He's saying don't go without confidence. I think we have the opposite problem. Everybody's going with confidence, and they crash and burn because everything fits, especially the newbie that comes in and says, this is so obvious. I did it in 1 hour. I'm going at, and it's like, we've all been there. We've all done that.
I was that guy. I was that guy for about a year. And then it was just by luck that I figured out what the blaze was. Yeah. Okay. So I totally expected more people to give me more crap than I get, but I think the 500 and 200 foot searchers is more of a hint. I think by
it's a clue.
I think it's a hint and a clue. I don't think whether or not that person actually exists. I kind of wonder. I think it's just kind of nudging you. Everything's a nudge. Everything's a part. I mean, I have found the blaze. I'm in the field. But I'm still on clue 8 and 9, and I won't know until I can get $1,000 and get out there. I need $1,000 to get out there to get around the snow, to make life go.
But you know how
Meanwhile,
many people do that and then they don't find it, and then they come back and they say, "Oh,
Sure.
but there was that one extra rock I didn't look at." And then and some people have lost their marriage and their mortgage, their house, and because they can't, because they're one step away, because they're so confident. How many people? I know many searchers who have been out to their spots more than 200 times.
Right.
And I'm not judging. I'm just saying, after 200 times, do you think maybe it's right? Maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
For me, the area I've been in, I've only cumulatively has spent probably 20, maybe 30 hours there. Now, mind you, it takes me 15 hours, 17 hours one way, and several $100s just to get there one way. So it takes a big effort just to get out there from California, and then get my crap together in altitude and think, which is tricky, and then try to extrapolate. By the way, it's really hard to go from words in a book to things around you.
Right.
Like if I was to describe Yosemite, do you think you'd know it if you were standing there? I mean, granted, these are the most iconic features in the world, but would you know it? I mean, it's kind of like trying to describe a cloud to a blind man. I mean, how do you? It's extraordinarily hard, and that's why I've been there and haven't figured out that I was in the right place until I got home. I looked at my photographs and I go, "Oh, that's the."
I think a lot of people
have done that 100 times. They do it again and again and again. Yeah. Well, so here's a question of it's kind of like, how much is messing with the poem or how much is specialized knowledge? What if the poem is instructing us to make adjustments to the blueprint of the poem itself? Is that considered messing with your poem?
No.
I think I went down periodic table. Is that considered specialized knowledge? Try the wheel, that's sliding. Is that messing with the poem? Like, what is when he says don't mess with my poem or specialized knowledge? I want an exact definition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Is it too much, I guess, to just ask Fenn to just say, "Look, these are the clues. You go through them once.
Well,
no messing around."
I think she's hit upon a really good question. What does Forrest's definition of specialized knowledge mean?
Right. I asked him about the New Mexico fishing regulation. Did he think that was specialized knowledge? And of course, his response was, "I don't know." So he wouldn't answer it.
That's a good question. That's a good answer. I don't know.
I mean, very early on, Forrest said an awful lot. Didn't he? The way you solve it is read the poem, read the book, go through, and then there was one, wasn't there, on Dale's site from 2011, where he was a bit more explicit early on, wasn't he, saying, go through and there'll be some aberrations. They'll stick out
on the edge,
and merge them all together with their catalyst, and then you'll just come up with something. And I do genuinely believe it is just the book, but it's too hard.
Right.
I think that's the thing.
It's definitely not easy.
We go off down the rabbit holes. So I think there's something around that he needs to help clarify. I think give us one from the book, and we'll get the gist then, and we're off. Something like that.
No, he never will. He won't.
Yeah, I don't.
He won't.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we're coming to relatively the end, and hello, Diggin' Gypsy. She came into the room late, always stylishly late, so she makes the entrance. I love it. So we had some quotes we needed earlier that you would have just had off the top of your head. So
well, Sean Martinez had a question, and he asked it twice, I think. So I guess he really wants us to ask. But the question was, how many miles from clue 1 to 9, clue 9, or how long did it take Forrest to travel from his car to the treasure chest? And I think the real question is, did Forrest have to follow all 9 clues like we have to? Or could he have just parked and the treasure chest is 100 feet right there and he just hit it?
It's clue 8 and 9.
Yeah, that would be interesting if somehow Forrest would narrow that down. I don't think he will, but it's a good question that did Forrest design the 9 clues for us, but he doesn't have to follow them. He can walk right to it. So.
Yeah. And maybe we should all offer him something to say, answer every question that was on the panel tonight.
Yeah. Right.
And of course, I didn't do my one. Just rule out a state. Just one state. It won't give things away. It just
rule out a state.
That wouldn't give anything away. It might upset the people that have searched, but hey, at least you know you're in the wrong state now. Now you can go look in one of the other 3 states.
No, but there would be Fenn speak that he didn't say it, or he didn't say it. Even if he said
this
state.
You know what he should do? He shouldn't eliminate a state. He should say what state where Warm Water's halt is in. Because if you follow the clues, it can take you into another state. All the states are still in place. We don't know how many miles there are. Too far to walk is how long. So if you could tell us what state, what WWH is in, that would be pretty huge.
Thing is, it'll be like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, won't it? And 50-50, and they'll get rid of
Yeah,
Colorado.
there you go.
And
Right.
then we'll be none the wiser.
Right.
Whatever do you mean? Because it's in Colorado, Jono.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I start that one in 10
3
years' time, that one, yeah.
You know, one has to consider that the blaze can be in two parts. For instance, it could be an iconic fixture in Colorado, and then the information you gather from that could take you to another state. There are many possibilities that what the blaze is. You can't limit yourself. You know, what I did is my concept of a blaze is not what his is. So you really have to follow what he says, which is really hard because I constantly interject how about, well, look at that. Whoa, it's shiny. And then, off you go. So I think it's
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. And you become the very grumpy bunny after a while. Yeah.
And a serious question I would have for him is, did he ever do little treasure hunts for either his kids or his grandkids when they were little? That would be cool, right? To know.
We should ask Piper.
Shiloh would know. So, I've done a little treasure hunt, and I put it in one of the vlogs for my boys. It would be interesting if Forrest did that for his kids when they were little. Just something around the house, to find.
Oh, how old is the
with
200
clues.
footer? That was.
Yeah.
There you go.
How old?
Okay.
There's a good question about what celebrity would have the easiest chance of solving the poem here by Deeper Thinker. I thought that's a pretty good question. What celebrity
Suzanne
would have a
Summers.
chance?
But it's too
Ashton
cold
Kutcher.
for her to search.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
It's going to be some luscious, beautiful woman. I mean, the guy is a tremendous flirt. I think it's terrific.
Okay, well, on that note.
Well, isn't he? He certainly seems like it, doesn't he? Which
I
is
don't
great.
know.
Yes,
Okay.
look at her blush. She's blushing. He is a flirt.
comment.
He is a flirt.
I was going to say that's not a super secret. That I would question on that one.
That's not a secret.
Anyway, okay. So
let's
we'll
transition. Yeah, right.
transition. Okay, so.
I think you need to show that shirt you're wearing so that I can show a little
Yeah.
eBay auction we got going on.
So, Codebreaker So, Mike, you talk about it.
As you guys may know, if you're in my Facebook group, Cowlazars Grand Adventure, I put one of the Forrest Fenn searcher coins on eBay, number 502. And I started it at $1 for no reserve. And I was like, let's just see how high it would go. And this is how high it's gone. We are currently, with 56 bids, we are at $561 for one coin. There's still 23 hours left on this auction. So, yeah, I couldn't believe it either. So, I know that the record for one coin is $800, and that was coin number 3 that Illinois Ghost put up. So, be interesting if we break that, but we'll see. I can't believe it's gone that high.
Number. This isn't like number.
Yeah,
3
it's not a low
for the
number.
coin.
There must be 2 people that really want number 502 for whatever reason. These numbers are personal to people for whatever reason. So
Yeah, so I've decided after that one's done, I'm doing one. I have 20 of them. I've never seen this. So I'm putting one up. One of my, not the silver ones that we said we're not making money off of, one of the copper ones. And I paid a lot of money for these bad boys.
So let's see whose auction goes higher, mine or Kpro's. We'll see.
Oh, then put it up
A little
now,
contest.
because
No,
I'm
no.
a little competitive.
That one ends tomorrow, and then you can put yours up. And do you know what number you're going to put up or not yet?
I don't know. So I have some like 646. That's kind of cool. I have 710. But then I have some like random ones like 705, 708. Well, you should know, Mike told me all these. 651.
I'd have to look at the spreadsheet. And what
But
I
you
wish
don't
I
have
would
it
have done, I wish I would have kept track of how many all these went for on eBay to know, like, all these coins have generated how much revenue or how much money people have sold them for.
Yeah.
But I've lost track. They've changed hands so much at this point. But that's okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so there is going to be another coin eventually to go up. And hey, if you want to make it a competition, I need to figure out how to make an eBay, and I'll win it myself just to win.
But you have to start yours at $1 though, like I did.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, somebody said this on, I think it was Thor. 502 is the drunk driving code. So that might be like, if you have a 502, you've had a DUI.
Oh, that's why somebody said it's their new Forrest Fenn sober coin. That's what they said. And I didn't realize what they meant. Now it makes sense. Okay, now I get it.
That's a good thing you didn't know that, Mike.
Yeah, sobriety coin. Good.
Okay, so let me talk about just a couple of other things. Somebody asked about the contest, so about my new name. So I'm going to have a new name. Are you guys ready? I will say there were like 45 responses or submissions, which was crazy to me that many people had interest. I know you don't have an interest in my name. You have an interest in getting a coin. I get it. I get it. It's all about, yeah. And so the person that has won is all pain, no gain. And it's going to be, I'm going to take a little bit from the old and a little bit from the new. 24K Pro. 24K Pro.
As in 24 karat gold. Yeah, okay.
24 karat gold. There's a little
Nice.
something going on there. So that's just fun. That's just silly. So all pain, no gain. Would you please send me a quick email at kpro3@aol.com, and we'll talk about.
Oh, they won. Oh, cool. Okay.
They won.
Yeah.
They won. See how easy that is. So yeah, keep Kpro. So I'm still keeping Kpro, but 24K Pro.
So now you need a logo. Have a logo contest for 24K Pro, and maybe they come up with something.
Yeah, but I might not do a contest on because a couple of the artists are like raking in the.
Oh, that's true.
There's more searchers. So I did have a new contest, which I'll go over in a minute. But I wanted to talk about two other things. Just so there is going to be another maybe rock the nation when it comes to the search community. So I want to get out now what I'm doing because Forrest is aware. A searcher made Forrest aware of what I have been doing, and Forrest wasn't aware, and so we've had a little bit of a discussion, etc. So the reason that I am really fixated or really looking at the contents of the chest is I do think that there's going to be a hint in there, and so some of you may have found out from some. I thought that I was well, let me go back. So there is a process in the United States called the Freedom of Information Act. Forrest had a raid in his home the year before he hid the treasure chest, if you think he hid it in 2010. In 2009, there was a raid. It was a joint raid by BLM and the FBI. And they took an inventory of everything that was in his vault. There is a very lengthy, substantial process to get, let's say if you wanted to request, what were all of the contents in the treasure chest? And I would like to have those pictures as my right as an American in the United States. You have a right to that information. It is a very lengthy process. It's taken almost a year up to this point. I believe it's going to take there was an appeal process. There's an appeal to an appeal. It is a red tape at its best. I will say I want to get it out now. So if anybody wants to have any drama around it, let's just get it all out of the way. That is something that and somebody asked me on Facebook because they found out about it from a searcher that now I won't say we're as close because there was a video yesterday about that person that has shared it with many people. And so I will say, yes, I have put in a Freedom of Information Act request. That has been a year-long process. When it comes out, I know some people think I'm absolutely insane, and there is a huge debate about this, but I'm not debating. I will put it out to the community. That will be Cowlazars. There we go.
I got to get you a T-shirt made. Cowlazars.
If you don't think there's any worthiness of the contents, I think it'd be great to see pictures of each of them, the contents, the treasure chest.
I want to see a picture of each coin. If there's an actual cataloged contents and there's a picture of each eagle and double eagle coin, all 256, to know what year the coins are, I mean, that would just be fun to know what is in the chest that way. I don't know about all the rest. There's that one item he says he's never talked about. Who knows?
Right. And would that be in there? This is a year beforehand. I don't know. Maybe he changed some things up. I think the lack of the amount of things that are out there is a challenge. I will say I don't have it yet. And that was and many people thought my whole big thing was about coins and stuff. No, I actually thought they had until December 31st to get it to me. There was another step in this process. My goodness, joint things, FBI, BLM, everybody's been involved. So we will see if I get it. I will tell you though, I wanted it out now. So if anybody has an issue, blow me up now because we're blowing everything up because 2019 is going to be drama free. So if I do get that, I'm sharing with the community. And there's a couple people that are not happy with me that thinks that it'll break it loose and give it away and they've earned it and I haven't. Well, everybody gets to earn it. Let's make it a foot race. So anyway, I am going to put that out. I want that out there to everybody.
Are you saying that you will open that on a YouTube live? Is that what I heard? Or did I not hear that part?
I know we've talked about that, Mike.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know about live, but open it and then,
I wanted to receive the package, open it up, go one by one, and it might take
just
4
share
hours,
it with
but-
everybody.
Yeah, but some have said that is a little too insane, and there's a little bit of I will share it very quickly. I don't know exactly how yet, because also the last package that I got, I actually did a video and I opened it up and it was a letter saying there's another 6-month process. It'd be like Geraldo. I would be like opening it up. To say there's
it's just
nothing.
a picture of the treasure chest. One picture of the treasure chest. But those
Yeah.
pictures will be available on Cowlazars.com. Kpro doesn't know that yet, but I'm going to talk her into it. So
That's terrible.
if you get
So,
it, again, everybody,
yeah.
she doesn't have it. If we
it's a
ever
long
get it this
process.
year, we'll show it. We'll
Long
post it.
process. So
Yeah.
anyway, just because, and I made the mistake, 2 could keep a secret if one of them is dead. You never know in the search community who you're close with. I did tell a couple people because I was working with a different channel and that all went kaboom. So anyway, that we'll see how that goes, but I just wanted to put it to rest. Many people have asked me about it. I didn't want to answer some and not answer others. I see the chat room going crazy, but so if the FOIA comes, 2019 I think is going to be the year of the FOIA. We will see.
We'll see.
But it's all legal, it's all appropriate, so we will see how that goes. There's a way to streamline.
Do you want to clarify? Because somebody just said you're going to get a list of everything in his house or everything in his vault. Do you want to clarify what the FOIA exactly is for?
Yeah, so first, Shawn, I would love to talk to you.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
So what you can do is you can ask for everything, and then that takes years, and that takes a lot of money, and that takes this and that, or you can ask for something very specific. I asked for something very specific, and so then that is supposed to minimize the amount of time that it takes to get that, and the amount of expense and all the pictures and things. Like I'm expecting maybe there'll only be one picture, but from what I understand, it's an individual. They had to inventory each item, so there's going to be maybe 200 or 300 pictures because they had to take a picture of each coin. They had to take a picture of the bracelet. They had to take a picture
only what's in the chest, right?
Right, and the chest.
And we don't know what was in the chest. Maybe there was, at that time when they did the raid, there could only have been half the things that were in the chest in the final.
And if you see the quotes from Douglas Preston and a few others, it sounds like it was pretty full. Now, totally full.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't
I have
know.
no information at all on that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So when did I get the last package? I got the last package late December. That was the one that I was actually saying there's such a big announcement, and I thought for sure it was it when I got the notification. So anyway, that is all. So I just wanted everyone to know, because I know some people are thinking I'm being devious about. No, I'm actually wanting to share with the community. Heaven forbid we all have that information. So I'll put it out. I don't know exactly when I get it, if it will be like have it all laid out and then I would like to do a live though, and just go like when Mike, when you brought up that the high res one, that was cool to see.
Of the contents of the chest. Yeah, that was a cool video. So to see what's actually in it, I mean, yeah, it's not going to help us get closer to the chest, but just to see the contents, that would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
But
and if
we'll
not,
see. Depends what you get.
Nothing. Maybe the pictures will be, maybe it'll be one picture exactly the same. There's also a redaction process. I could get it with all these like
blocked out.
Black thing. Yeah. So you never know. I just wanted to, especially since Forrest was aware, I just wanted to like put it out there.
Forrest does know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, I just wanted to take the rumor part out of it, so it's out there.
If you get it, you never know. They may block it for some reason.
Yes, exactly, Shawn. That is exactly the case. So, so it's been, and there is many parts to it, and I've submitted things and it comes back. I needed clarifications. I needed this. What do I electronic or this? And so I've gone back and forth for a year or so now. So anyway, that is there is no invasion of privacy. It is our right as Americans to have that. And so that's just,
if somehow it was illegal, you wouldn't be able to get it. That's the whole part of the Freedom of Information Act. It's legal to get that if you get it.
Right.
I mean, we'll see. You never know.
Right. You never know. So okay, so that's that piece. Okay, so let's talk about the World Series of Fenn.
It's coming up 3 weeks.
The World Series of Fenn is 3 weeks away. If you have or told me before you're coming, and you have not responded to the email, I have about half of you. That about half of you have responded, half of you haven't, and some new people have popped up. I have emailed every single person or PM'd every single person that has RSVP'd. I need to know if you are coming or not, because I'm bringing a gift. And the gift is only going to the people that have RSVP'd. So I will say we did get a new item as one of the prizes for the poker tournament, and we had it shipped directly to Vegas. So, Mike, did you want to show our?
Oh yeah, I
one of
just
our
got it
prizes?
today actually. So right here, directly from the Collected Works bookstore, we have a set of all 3 books. This will be second place. I don't know if we've decided, but one of the winners of the poker tournament will get this. I know
But
the
wait, there's
coin is
more.
first place. Forrest Fenn signed each one of these, and there is a poker doodle in each book for you people
Show
that
one,
collect
Mike.
all the poker. All right, we'll show the thrill of the chase. We'll save the other 2 maybe for another show. So he was nice enough to sign these, and this one says, "Here's to a full house." Now, is that the chest? Is that a playing card? I'm trying to think what the box is supposed to be.
Oh, that'll be hours of bunny hole
And that
discussion.
looks like a dress, so that looks like a female doodle. I mean, I don't know. Everybody can decide for themselves. But
I think
each
he
of the
knows who's
book,
going to win the tournament, as far as I'm concerned.
all 3 books have a poker-related doodle, and I'm not going to take a picture. People will email me and be like, "Can you send me the doodle?" Whoever wins the books, if they want to release the doodles, that's on them. So yeah, 3 books to one lucky winner of the poker tournament. So, and then coin number 2, and I don't know, we may Warm Waters Halt Copper Dance piece number 3. So those are 3 prizes right there, and we may have some more. We'll see.
Yeah. I think that is so. The World Series of Fenn, the book. We are doing the one important thing is we're doing an escape room and some
Yeah,
other
that should
activities.
be fun. Yeah.
Make sure to respond to the email. We've had a little bit of a hiccup on T-shirts. I need to talk to you about that, Mike, later.
Oh, it's a full house. It's a picture of a full house. I get it. Those were 4 windows. Okay, good, Tim Walker. Now I get it. I didn't understand what that was at first. It's a full house. Okay, it's a poker term, everybody. Oh, as far as the maps, I got some emails, and I will respond to everybody tonight. So if you sent me an email, I'll get back to you tonight. There were like 5 that came in over the weekend, so I will respond to everybody tonight.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know a couple of people are upset about the FOIA. I'm glad I got it out now. So be upset now. That's okay. And so that's the last thing that I want to actually finish up on. I did put out a video yesterday. It has been taken down, Mike. I don't know if you want me to talk to it or you.
So the video of setting the record straight is no longer on YouTube. It was taken down. And the reason it was taken down, I'm going to show you guys the email right here. Let me put it up so everybody can see it. Is because somebody filed a privacy violation on the video. So basically, YouTube said you have 48 hours to take it down. So we did. I think you proved your point by posting it. There's no reason to leave it up. Don't know who filed the privacy complaint. Don't care. That's probably because an email was shown, somebody's email address, and that's fine. So yeah, that video's down. I think you said what you needed to say, and I don't have anything else to add to it. So it's over. Let's move on.
There's only one piece that I did want to say. I did get an email, and I haven't responded to it because I got inundated with some things. I got an email from Sean Dotson who apologized. I do not believe he was aware of the personal side. I think he knew of some name calling and things. I don't think he knew how much it went to the level that it did. I do think personally there's some things that happened on his channel that I think escalated quickly that maybe happened more than I would have liked, but I don't think Sean was involved in any way. And I know him and I aren't on the same page exactly right now, but I think he's a good person. And I want to reach back to him. I just want to give it a little time. And I didn't get to see what he said beforehand since we were prepping for the show. But I just want to say, there's good people in the chase. I think he's one of them. I just think we both maybe have made some mistakes and definitely have some miscommunication. So I just wanted to clear the air. Some people are asking me, how is Sean involved? I think he had someone on his channel as a person, partner, whatever. I don't think he knew. I don't think he goes to the personal side. I think he's had it happen to him, so he knows how wrong it is. And this is all I'm going to say on that. I just wanted to not defend Sean, but just maybe clear the air that I think there may have been some assumptions that I was saying it about both. I was only saying it about one person. And so, Sean, I'm sorry if you've gotten caught up in some of this. I did want to clear the air. I feel strongly about what I did. I hope it's just now all behind us. And I just wanted to say that one piece, and eventually we'll get back to being able to communicate. Right now, I just want to have some good, fun content things for the next little bit. And then maybe we'll get back to doing good, because Sean is so smart and so good at delivering content. So I hope we get all back to where we were before. So anyway, that's my 2019 wish.
Cowlazars.com. We've updated the website. We have a Keeping Up with Forrest page, which kind of lists videos and resources. So if anybody wants to check out the website, and the Grand Adventure is going to take place at the website at a later date. And Davio has got his artwork. Where can people purchase that, Davio?
Well, you can just email me at Davio. Well, you go to YouTube, so just leave a comment. My email's on the page, davidchoffman@hotmail.com. Get a hold of me. Send a treasure hunter to the blaze.
Wait a minute. Is that the blaze that you found? Is it something to do with a heart? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just promoting myself to go out there and find the treasure, because I'm probably the only guy who'd like to see this keep going on. I thought the thing to do is to find a treasure and then keep this going, because we can always do these cool little windows and chat about it. So I think it's important that it keeps rolling, and more parks and more communication about imagination and art. I think this has been, this has the potential to keep snowballing into bigger and better things. So
nice.
More.
Okay, are you still awake, Jono? I know it's like what, 3?
He's fading, man. He's fading.
I'm doing well.
Okay, and you I think you got the nomination for the best voice for any searcher award. You have like the radio voice. It's awesome.
Really, I'm from Texas. I'm just putting the voice on.
You should read the poem with that accent. That'd be pretty cool.
Y'all come back now.
I did, and some of you did ask me if I would read different chapters and put up the
Oh, good.
I did ask for it. It is a copyright violation, and so I can't do it in its totality. Maybe we'll do a session kind of like Toby did before, of if you want a certain page or paragraph or something. But I can't, my thought was chapter 1 and do one video for 20-30 minutes. Chapter 2, you still wouldn't get the illustrations and other things, but he's right. It's copyrighted, so I would need his approval, and he has said you get the books. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that I tried that. This was maybe last month. A few people asked if I tried. Yes.
Somebody said you can buy Davio's heart.
Oh,
that's right.
For Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I think the reason, by the way, the books are given away is because he has, if you think about it, plagiarized Norman Rockwell. So he can't really sell the book for the same reason you can't read it out loud.
Well, somebody's selling the book. You mean Forrest isn't? Yeah.
Well,
but not Forrest Fenn.
But the majority of the money is going to cancer fund, right? So that'd be a question to ask.
But I don't think you can. I don't think you can plagiarize or violate copyright even if you're donating. I don't think.
I don't know.
So I'll have to look.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was donated, because that way it wouldn't infringe on you're not actually having ill-gotten gains. You're giving it away. Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, that's a good idea. Matt's saying use the ones that he's already posted. Maybe he has it on old Santa Fe. He maybe read those, but those aren't the ones everybody's looking for. It's the ones that he hasn't. So anyway, so it has been lovely tonight, y'all. We're way over. We're over 10 minutes over.
Oh no.
And we will let's see, Thursday. Oh, Mike, did you want to talk about Thursday?
Oh yeah, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, same time we always have. We are going to have one of the guys on from the podcast about The Secret. Byron Press's The Secret is a treasure hunt that's been going on since the early 80s. There's a podcast out called The Secret, and one of the guys that does that podcast will be on the show Thursday. So everybody tune in. You can learn about a new treasure hunt. There's still 10 things that are buried in 10 cities in the U.S., and they're still out there waiting to be found. So we'll have all the details on that on Thursday. So we hope you join us for a different treasure hunt. All right. Guys, anything else?
Thank you. We love you all out there. Love you. Much love.
All right, everybody.
And good night, all.
See you next time.
See you later.